You are listening to the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast with your host, Aaron Zamzow.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast. I am your host, Aaron Zamzow. Today I have a very special treat for you. I write for Firehouse magazine, and I've been very fortunate to meet some wonderful people. Writing for Firehouse has been very humbling. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunities. One of the opportunities is a chance to meet some of the more influential leaders in the fire service. And one that I have met has become a mentor to me, and I look up to him a lot, and I greatly appreciate all his support. It's FDNY Chief John Salka. And recently I got the chance to sit down with him and talk a little bit about fitness, and in this case, nutrition. You may know Chief Salka from talking about command and leadership academy and building construction. But he does also have some great insight to provide for you on nutrition, especially portion control in the firehouse and how to help you maintain and lose weight with these kind of nice tips that he shares with us. There's also some great stories that he shares about these two tips. So I'm very, very excited to share it with you. I hope you are also excited and enjoy it. So here is Chief John Salka talking about how to eat more healthy in the firehouse. Hope you enjoy. This is going to be fun. I've wanted to do this forever. I appreciate this. So
my pleasure.
Everybody that listens to Fire Rescue Fitness, and you may know this gentleman, this is Chief John Salka, FDNY. You've probably seen and heard him talk about command, talk about RIT, talk about flow and building construction and
company officer academy and
company officer academy. Yep. But what you don't know is he actually has one of the best fitness tips and nutrition tips for firefighters. And I always say, like, most people don't know the softer or the health and wellness side of him.
Yes.
But it starts with a story.
Yes.
And the story goes, it's about you and your wife and her coming to the firehouse, right?
And my future wife, yes. When I first got on the fire department, FDNY, I was in the Midtown Engine Company. And I subsequently met my wife on St. Patrick's Day. We were both marching in the parade. She was with the nurses, I was with the firemen, and we hooked up. Turns out she only lived about 15 or 20 blocks away from where I worked. So one night she came to visit me at the firehouse. She took a cab and came right to the firehouse. And
with the crew, big crew was there.
It just happened to be dinner time, about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And she came in, and the food was had just been, put on the plates. I almost said shoveled out, but it was true.
Right. Dinner bell rings, right?
Dinner bell rings. We sit down. I said, Salka, you got a guest at the front door. I go out. I'm like, what are you doing here? She said, I just thought I'd stop by. Well, come on. We're just sitting down to eat.
This is like after date one, right?
Oh, we were like on 1 or 2 dates. That was it. We hardly knew each other. And so one of the rig real quick. I said, no, we'll just sit down and eat. Oh, come on in. So we came in and she sat down and everybody was eating. And of course we were eating on the typical fire department platters. There's no plates in the firehouse.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that. But and it was a short visit. She was a little uncomfortable being amongst all these guys she didn't know. She hardly knew me. It was a visit, and then it was over, and off she went. And the next time I was with her, she was like, "Oh my God!" I said, "What?" She said, "That firehouse visit was an eye opener." I said, "What was wrong?" She said, "The plates." I said, "What?" She said, "I have never seen so much food on a single human being's plate." She said, "You had 3 pork chops, a gigantic mound of red cabbage, potatoes, and something else." She said, "That should be in the middle of the table for a family, and each of you had that." I was like, "Well, that's how we eat at the firehouse."
And you wolfed it down fast, right?
Oh,
so we all had these platters.
And we leave nothing.
Yes.
We leave nothing.
Yeah.
That's
10 minutes, it's gone.
That's right.
Right. And those platters were what? Probably like 12-inch.
Literally serving platters. They really don't buy plates. They buy these big oval platters that, like I said, the normal family, the normal human would use that in the middle of the table to put maybe the chicken on or even a couple of items on, and you would take a few pieces off with your fork. But we just, we buy what we buy, and then we cook it, and then all of it comes out of the pot.
Yeah.
Nothing's left in the pot. There's no leftovers. It all goes onto the plates. And then, of course, once the plate's in front of you, what do?
You eat it.
You eat it to the bottom.
And the thing is, there's actually science behind that. So your lesson that we talked about was serve on smaller plates.
No joke. No joke.
Yeah.
No joke.
And
get human-sized plates.
Get regular, like even 8 or some people now I say get a 6 inch
Well, if you get a 6-inch plate, they'll be throwing them.
Right. Well, then you get a bowl on side for salad or whatever.
Right. But at home, you could have some nice 6-inch plates and small bowls, like because nobody's there to fill your plate. Right?
That and to give your
That's
grab
right.
a smaller plate. But the interesting part is science. There's science behind that. That if you have a big plate, your mind tells you that if it's full, and I eat all that, then I'm going to be full.
Right.
Well, if you fill the same, like a smaller plate, you don't have as much food, and your mind perceives that.
Still thinks it's enough.
It still thinks it's
That's
enough.
right.
So I always say the John Salka rule of nutrition in the firehouse is serve on smaller plates and know your portion control.
And I have one more further thing to say is, and that's actually happening now. That story I told you about is a 35-year-old story.
Right.
Now it's 2018. So now there's a little more modern thinking going on, and younger folks coming into the fire service, and they're just not eating like we used to eat.
Right.
Even though I didn't eat like we used to eat either until I joined the fire department, but now guys are resisting a little bit and sort of changing things a little bit. So they're like, what are we doing with these things? And they're buying the smaller plates, the normal plates,
Better food choices also what we talk about all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The other thing I talk about all the time is, and it's not really a diet regimen, but it's a good maintenance regimen. It's a good. It talks to the same thing that you just talked about portions. No seconds. Just sit down and eat your meal, and don't get up for more. Especially when you go to these buffets, or sometimes the firehouse does have extra food left in the pot. Guy goes in and gets another pork chop, another steak, another half a sandwich. If you don't eat seconds, a couple of times when I really needed to lose some weight because I had just not been paying attention, I did no seconds and no dessert. I just followed those 2 rules for like a year, and I lost like 35 pounds. No seconds and no dessert. I didn't eliminate anything from my diet. I didn't not eat anything or eat more of anything. I just didn't have a second serving, and I didn't eat dessert except for special occasions, a birthday or Christmas or something.
Right.
And
Which you still have to indulge every once in a while.
Absolutely.
One of the guys that I've worked with at Fire Rescue Fitness has lost about 65 pounds, and he says what he does is after he's done with his portion, he takes his plate up and he takes it and he puts it away, like he puts it in the sink, then comes back and does all the the BS and that we like to do around the
So
table.
you're not just keep picking.
Right. He said, my plate's gone. I don't keep picking. And
I know a guy who used to eat a cake. He'd eat the whole cake, a half-inch slice at a time. He'd cut a little slice like he was doing the right thing,
yeah.
but he'd eat 30
You're
of it.
right.
He'd eat 30 of it.
You're right.
That's just not the way to do it.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you for this health and fitness tip.
My pleasure.
We'll
My
post
pleasure,
this,
buddy.
and I do appreciate all the support. So there you go, John Salka, Chief FDNY, legend in the fire service.
There you go.
Talking health and fitness.
Thank you for listening to the Fire Rescue Athlete Podcast with your host, Aaron Zamzow. Please tune in again soon for more fitness tips for fire rescue athletes.